It is today. I'll give you a hint. You can tell by the color of my vestments. Okay, guys. Go ahead. One of you. All of you. God, you like it. Red Sunday. Red Sunday, it's called in the calendar of the Armenian Church. It has no ancient religious symbolism or significance. Scholars believe that it has to do with the blood of martyrs, of all of those over the centuries who have died for the faith, but especially for our new martyrs who died during the genocide, and before that, during the massacres that took place as a prelude to the genocide, and afterwards, to those who continue to die, not just Armenians, but throughout the world, everybody who continues to die for their faith. The blood of martyrs, symbolized by the color red, is today embodied in the theme of Red Sunday. St. Peter, in his first letter to the Christian church in general, in chapter 5 and verses 1 to 11, talks about how we should live our lives, especially if we are persecuted. He says, and this is one of the most beautiful pictures in the Bible, in my estimation, in the New Testament. And see if it doesn't awaken a picture in your mind. He says, discipline yourselves. Keep alert. For like a roaring lion, your adversary, the devil, prowls around looking for someone to devour. Think of a hungry lion looking for prey, looking for game, looking for something or someone to eat. That's how the devil operates in life. He's hungry to get our souls, to get our attention, to make us follow him and turn away from God. It's reality, it's truth. And there's only one way to fight against him. You're not afraid of a lion if you have a big shotgun. But if you're all alone, without any weapons at all, then indeed you would be afraid. And if you ever saw a lion coming after you, you would certainly run. Thank God we have weapons that God has given us to fight against the adversary, against the devil. St. Peter says, resist him, steadfast in your faith. For you know that your brothers and sisters in all the world are undergoing the same kinds of suffering. And after you have suffered for a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, support, strengthen, and establish you. So he says, resist him in faith. Faith is our greatest weapon. Is there anybody who hasn't seen, I'm not really asking, it's a rhetorical question, who hasn't seen The Promise yet? If you haven't, please go see it. Go see it today. Because the whole theme, in my mind, after seeing it 3 times, is embodied in this passage as follows. What I have read thousands of times and heard about over my life, about what happened during the genocide. Seeing on the screen the long lines of people being taken into the desert, into Deir Zor, and in other places, to their deaths, being tortured and killed on the way. In them, we have seen as a people their deep faith to resist the temptation of turning away from God. when we are faced with difficulty, with danger, with things we don't understand, things that we absolutely abhor, we sometimes take the easy way out. But St. Peter is telling us today that that's not always the best way. And so when we are confronted with suffering, with difficulties in life, with tribulations, when we are beset upon by tortures, and when the shadow of death looms over us, we should not give up hope, but we should steadfastly resist in our faith, for we know that God takes care of those who remain faithful to Him. And St. Peter tells us that those who wish to live their lives in a manner that is pleasing to Him, in a way that will allow them to strengthen their faith and have the resolve to resist evil, to those He gives this advice: you who are younger must accept the authority of the elders, and all of you must clothe yourselves with humility in your dealings with one another. For God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. We must be obedient. We must be humble in order to receive grace. And he says, therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, so that He may exalt you in due time. Cast all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you. Discipline yourselves and keep alert. And then he goes into that passage about the roaring lion, walking around looking for someone to devour. So please, students, parents, grandparents, faithful, do not give up hope when things seem to be hopeless. Because there is one hope, one who will give us strength when we ask and when we seek. In the meantime, in order to be able to turn to God, to look for the hope when things are hopeless, we must clothe ourselves with humility. We must be obedient to God's commandments. We must strengthen ourselves, our faith, by disciplining ourselves and being alert to those horrendous and terrible things that are going on in this world, and understanding that Satan is out to get us. And the way to resist him is the way of God, the way of peace, the way of truth, the way of faith, the way of humility, and the way of love and grace. Amen. Yergule samat sagat